Hi, my name is Kit and today we're going to be making Pad Thai. Pad Thai means stir-fried Thai noodles. The word pad literally translates to stir-fry, so it's a stir-fry noodles. Let's get on with the ingredients. So let's start with the sauce. Okay, so for the Pad Thai sauce, you first need to have a tamarind paste, but in this case, I'm going to use, I used the tamarind bouillon with 1/4 cup of hot water, and then you need some Thai fish sauce. Any fish sauce will do, but definitely use a Thai brand if you can find one. And then we need a chili sauce. I'm going to use sriracha, but any type of chili sauce that you can find will do. Or you can also use fresh chilies, so you can just chop like a fresh chili. So these three ingredients is what you need for Pad Thai sauce, including brown sugar. I'm sorry, the brown sugar. And then let's go to the noodles. So this is rice noodles. It's gonna look like this. Uncooked, it's super hard. And then just follow the instructions in the pack. You also need a protein. So for Pad Thai protein, you can use any protein of your choice. I choose chicken. Chicken breast is the easiest to cook. You can also use shrimp, or you can use pork. You can use beef, or whatever you like. Also, we need chives. Bean sprouts, garlic, and tofu. You also need to have some chopped roasted peanuts, and salt and pepper to taste. Lastly, you need dried shrimp. Dried shrimp it looks like this. I'm not going to take it out of the pack. I'm going to take it out of the pack last minute because it's stinky. And then you would also need soy sauce, and the soy sauce is for the chicken marinade. So let's do that. I'm going to first chop the chicken breast. So it should be like bite-sized, kind of small. So probably like 2 inches is okay. So something like this is okay. Right, and then just get the soy sauce. Put the chicken in like a bowl or something. And then add a tablespoon of soy sauce. A tablespoon is more than enough actually for this much chicken. And then add a bit of pepper. And then some salt. You can just mix that and leave it on the side. Oops. Okay. So I'm just gonna wash my hands. Okay, I'm back. I just washed my hands because I handled raw chicken. I also forgot to say that you also need tofu for this dish. So you need a special kind of tofu. It's the firm one. It's the extra firm. If you can get the extra firm, and you need to chop. You need to cut it into like 1 inch length, like this. This will be the perfect size, right? So I'm going to show you, because with the chives, you need to chop, or you need to cut it 2 inches long. All right, so about this size. So this is the perfect size. Okay, so you just continue chopping that. Whoops. Okay. And you can just throw in the dried end part. It's not needed. Okay, so you're gonna have this much chive, but you need to leave half, like separate half of that. The other half we will need when we stir fry. Okay, so let's start with the sauce. So the pad thai sauce I mentioned earlier will have the tamarind paste, and it will have the shrimp, no, this is fish sauce, chili sauce, and sugar. Okay, so we're going to get 2 tablespoons of fish sauce. This doesn't smell good, but it tastes really good. Alright, and with the chili sauce, right, this all depends on your heat tolerance. So if you like it spicy, put a lot. I like it super spicy. Living in Thailand, you get used to like spicy food, so you just want spicy food all the time. And I want mine spicy, that's why I put 2 tablespoons, but really I want more than that. But I'm gonna calm down. Okay. And then you need the sugar. Brown sugar. White sugar will do as well, but brown sugar is what I prefer. We need to get a teaspoon for this. So hold on, I'll be back. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily have to be super sweet, but you have to have the sweet element in a pad thai sauce. So I put 1 tablespoon. Okay, give it a bit of taste. Needs more chili sauce, honestly, but I'll leave it like this, and then I'll just adjust the taste of the pad thai once it's cooked. Okay. All right, so we can get started with the cooking. Let's move to the kitchen. Go. Okay, so we now move to the kitchen. As you can see, my kitchen is pretty small. That's why we had to prep in the dining table. But I've now moved everything to 1 plate. Okay, so this is the chicken, the tofu, the garlic, and the bean sprouts. So if you notice, the bean sprouts is a little bit less now. The other half of the bean sprout is separated. So this will be, the other half will be used for the plating, and then this other half will be cooked. So it's okay to use or to eat uncooked bean sprouts. It's still fine. It's pretty delicious and crunchy. Alright, so let's get cooking. Normally, if you make pad thai, if you have pad thai in the streets of Bangkok or anywhere in Thailand, they would use a wok. But I have an electric stove right here. So I can't use a wok. I'm just going to use a normal pan. It's still going to taste the same. It's just easier, obviously, to cook if you are cooking in fire and with a wok. So it's going to be the same. But let's start with the noodles. So the noodles, if you leave it out for a while, you'll see that it all is clumped together now in one thing like this. So just what I did is I have some hot water here. Whoa! Okay, so you just have to pour it in. Leave this here so that it doesn't stick together. this much. Make sure you have clean hands. We need more water. That looks much better. Okay, so now the pan is very hot. So, because I'm using electric, like I mentioned, so you need to get it to super hot, just like if you would use a wok. I also got the dried shrimp out last minute. So the first step is get some oil out. Vegetable oil, canola oil. Just don't use olive oil because that has a very strong taste. So spread that oil out. Put the chicken in first because we want to get the chicken cooked. I'm putting all of the chicken in. Whoops, we're not going to use that. Alright, so this is going to take maybe around just 3 to 5 minutes. You don't want to cook it all the way through because that's going to make the chicken hard, and we want it kind of tender. So try not to cook it all the way through because we're going to remove this out of the pan anyway and then put it back when we have the noodles in. Alright. So a couple more minutes. So in Thailand, when you go to the street, like Pad Thai is really one of the most famous street foods. But you can use, like I said earlier, you can use shrimp, which is one of my favorites as well. But chicken is just easier to cook. You can use pork, also another favorite in Thailand. Alright, this looks pretty good. Just put it back, take it out. Everything from now will be super quick because it's just a stir fry. Get some oil. Okay. First part is the garlic. And then the tofu. Careful with handling the tofu because you might like break it, but the best tofu to use is always the extra firm tofu. So once it gets a bit dark, that's when you can add the noodles, but it's not dark yet, so let's wait for it to darken. So maybe like a minute. Good. Let's add in the noodles. Put the noodles on top of the tofu and then the sauce. Pour it on top of the noodles. Don't use all of it. get that in there. That's the dried shrimp. Okay, so if you don't like dried shrimp, you don't actually have to use it, but it adds a certain flavor to the pad thai. If it looks a bit dry, add more of the sauce. This one looks a bit dry, so I'm just gonna pour in a bit more. Okay, so let's go to the egg. In Thailand, when you go and order pad thai, like one order of pad thai in the street, you get 1 egg per order. This noodles is about 2 servings, so I'm gonna use 2 eggs. I'm gonna show you a quick technique. You put the noodles on the side. This is what Thai cooks would do. You put the noodles on the side, crack the egg, put the egg there. So don't touch it for a little bit. So for a few seconds you leave it like that. You wait for it to get firm before you mix it. You can break it up a bit, but you have to wait for it to be a bit firm. Okay, so it looks like it's a bit cooked now. So as you can see. So what you need to do is move the noodles on top of the egg. So this is a trick that I got from street vendors. And then there, you just mix it. Careful not to like break the noodles. But you see you get a lot of chunks of the egg. So you just spread that around. I'm going to switch to the thong because it's easier. Alright, at this point you can put back the chicken. It's probably a lot. However much of bean sprouts that you want. I like a lot of bean sprouts. Do you want bean sprouts? Yeah. So let's put all of that. And anyway, half of the bean sprouts are going to be used for the plating.
What's this one called?
Tongs. Okay. Add in the chives. It's looking really pretty. Alright, so still looks a bit dry, and we did make a lot of the sauce. So maybe the remaining sauce you can pour over. Just get that all there. That looks good. Alright. That looks really good. Smells very good as well. There we go. Just leave it on for a few more seconds. And then we're ready to plate, in which case we're going to move back to the dining table. Alright, so now that we've taken the pad thai out of the heat, we're going to start plating. So you notice I took some chives out, and you just put a little bit of that in a plate. Let's do this. So just grab a bit of noodles. Put there on the table. No, on the plate. Okay, so make sure that you have some of the chicken on top so it looks nice. You do the same to the other plate. So pick some chicken, put it on top. Okay, so the leftover bean sprouts, you can grab a couple of that. Put that on the side, just beside the chives. And remember the roasted peanuts that we did touch. So we're just gonna put that on top, sprinkle that on top of it. Be very generous. I like my pad thai with a lot of the peanuts. And then maybe put some on the side. Okay, this is how it's gonna look like. Looks pretty. Okay, so when you go and eat this in Thailand, normally there would be like tiny little jars where you can have fish sauce and vinegar, as well as chili flakes, dried chili flakes, but I didn't have any dried chili flakes. And I used a lot of sriracha, so this is going to be a spicy one. But yeah, pretty much you can do whatever. Add some sugar if you want it sweet. Add some chili if you want it spicy. I have two guys here who will get to taste this food, so you guys know how it tastes like. So I'm just going to bring them in.
Thanks.
You guys can add like whatever you want. If you want like extra
like
sauce. That's a massive bite of chicken.
It's really good. I like it.